Hello, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a reading of Brynhildr, one of the most famous of the Valkyries, simply because I feel that the Valkyries aren't talked about enough, at least not individually. Anywho, according to the Volsunga saga, Brynhildr, or Brynhilda, is a Valkyrie, and the daughter of Budli. She was ordered to decide a fight between two kings, which were Hjálmgunnar and Agnar. Knowing that Odin preferred the older Hjálmgunnar, she decided to side with Agnar. For this, Odin condemned her to live the life of a mortal woman, imprisoned her in a remote castle behind a wall of shields on top of Mount Hinderfjall in the Alps. There she must sleep within a ring of fire until someone rescues and marries her. The hero Sigurður, who is attested as the Dragon Slayer, or the Slayer of Fafnir, had entered the castle and awoke Brynhildr by removing her helmet and cutting off her armor. He immediately fell in love and proposed to her with a magic ring called Anvaranaut. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Promising to return and make Brynhild his bride, Sigurður then left the castle and headed for the court of Giuki, the king of Burgundy. Giuki's wife, the sorceress Grimhild, wanted Sigurd to marry her daughter Gudrun instead. She prepared a magic potion that made Sigurd forget about Brynhild. Sigurd soon married Gudrun. Hearing of this encounter with the Valkyrie, Grimhild decided that Brynhild should be the wife of her son Gunnar. Gunnar went to court. Brynhild was stopped by the ring of fire around the castle. He tried to ride through the flames with his own horse and then with Sigurd's horse, but couldn't. Still under Grimhild's spell, Sigurd shifts into Gunnar and enters the ring of fire. Sigurd, disguised as Gunnar, and Brynhild get married, and they stayed there for 3 nights. But Sigurd laid his sword between them for all 3 nights, meaning he did not take her before giving her to the real Gunnar. Sigurd also took the ring Anvaranaut from her finger and later gave it to Gudrun. Gunnar and Sigurd soon returned to their true forms, with Brynhild thinking she married Gunnar. However, Gudrun and Brynhild later quarreled over whose husband was greater, Brynhild boasting that even Sigurd was not brave enough to ride through flames. Gudrun revealed that it was actually Sigurd who rode through said ring of fire, and Brynhild became enraged. Sigurd, remembering the truth, tried to console her, but to no avail. Brynhild plotted revenge by urging Gunnar to kill Sigurd, telling him that he slept with her on Hinderfjall, which he swore not to do. Gunnar and his brother Hogni were afraid to kill him, and they swore oaths of brotherhood to Sigurd. They incited their younger brother, Guthorm, to kill Sigurd by giving him a magic potion that enraged him, and he murdered Sigurd in his sleep. Dying, Sigurd threw his sword at Guthorm, killing him, although some poems say that Guthorm killed him in the forest south of Rhine. Brynhild herself killed Sigurd's 3-year-old son. Then she willed herself to die. When Sigurd's funeral pyre was aflame, she threw herself on it. Thus they passed together through the realm of hell. Of course, in Semitic poems such as Sigurd Arthvakida, Kinskama, Gunnar and Sigurd lay siege to the castle Atli, Brynhild's brother. Atli offers his sister's hand in exchange for a truce, which Gunnar accepts. But Brynhild was sworn only to marry Sigurd, so she is deceived into believing that Gunnar is actually Sigurd. According to Volsunga, Brynhild bore Sigurd a daughter, Aslog, who later married King Ragnar Lothbrok. In the Eddic poem Helrid Brynhildr, or Brynhild's Right to Hell, Brynhild, on her journey, encounters a giantess, Gigir, who blames her for an immortal livelihood. Brynhild responds to her accusations, even with grief, and all too long are men and women born in the world, but yet we shall live our lives together. Sigurd and I, sink down, giantess. In the Nibelungenlied, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Brynhild is instead the queen of Isenland, or Iceland. Gunther here overpowers her in 3 warlike games with the help of Siegfried, who is Sigurd. Equipped with an invisibility cloak, firstly, Brynhild throws a spear toward Gunther that 3 men can barely lift, but the invisible Siegfried diverts it. Secondly, she throws 12 fathoms a boulder that requires a strength of 12 men to lift. Lastly, she leaps over the same boulder. Gunther, however, defeats her with Siegfried's help in the games and takes her as his wife. The Nibelungenlied also differs from Scandinavian sources in its silence on Brynhild's fate. She fails to kill herself at Siegfried's funeral and presumably survives Kriemhild and her brothers. So there's quite a bit of differentiation between sources here. By the way, I am reading from thenorsegods.com. As I have not read through the entirety of the Poetic Edda yet, but this is a fairly accurate source anyhow. So we can assume that the Poetic Eddas of this story are correct, or at least true to what the Eddas say anyways. Even if that's so, then Brynhild betrayed Odin, and then he stripped her of Valkyrie status and basically made her fall asleep, such as the story with Snow White, or was it Snow White? Sleeping Beauty, sorry. And then Sigurd, the Dragon Slayer, he falls in love and saves her from this burning castle, and then betrays her later on, unknowingly, of course, rather bewitch, I cannot speak today, but she then decides to throw herself on his funeral pyre after he gets killed by her brother. So, Brynhild is one of the most famous Valkyries, and one of the most well-written of them. Later on I'll do some readings from such Valkyries as Sigrun, and Kara, and a few others, as we only know a few of them, unfortunately. Eventually I'll also do Eir, the goddess of healing, and who is also a Valkyrie. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll have me on your journey.